Sean Diddy Combs just dodged a life sentence, getting cleared of the most serious charges against him, racketeering and sex trafficking, but he is not going home. A federal judge just denied him bail, and the reason why is pretty stunning. It all comes down to Combs' own violent past and what that means for the music mogul as he waits for his sentence behind bars. Just imagine you're acquitted of charges that could have locked you away for life. You'd think freedom is just moments away, right? That's the bizarre reality Sean Combs is facing. While his legal team is calling the split verdict a great victory, the celebration was cut short. Judge Aaron Subramanian ordered Combs to stay right where he is in federal custody. So how did we get here? Why is a man who was just cleared of the most severe accusations still considered too dangerous for the streets? First, you have to understand the jury's complicated decision. It was a mixed bag. They found Sean Combs not guilty of the two biggest charges, racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking by force. Those were the ones that carried a potential life sentence. But the jury did find him guilty on two other serious counts: transportation to engage in prostitution. These convictions are based on a law that's been around for over a century called the Mann Act, which makes it a federal crime to take someone across state lines for prostitution. While they're lesser charges than what he was facing, they're no slap on the wrist. Each one carries up to 10 years in prison, meaning Combs is now staring down a possible 20-year sentence. So that's the big question. If he beat the life sentence charges, why can't he get out on bail? The answer is all in Judge Subramanian's reasoning. He pointed squarely at what he called Combs' propensity for violence and a years-long pattern of violence. The judge said that Combs failed to prove with clear evidence that he wasn't a danger to any person or the community. What's really wild is that throughout the trial, Combs' own defense team basically admitted he had been violent in past relationships, especially with Cassie Ventura and another ex-girlfriend who testified. The prosecution hammered this point home, arguing that Combs was still a threat, especially to the women who testified against him. In fact, Cassie Ventura's lawyer even sent a letter to the judge saying she feared Combs could be a danger to her and others if he were released. Prosecutors also made the case that his massive wealth and global network made him a major flight risk. His lawyers offered $1 million bond and promised he'd follow strict rules, but the judge wasn't buying it. In the end, the judge made it plain and simple. The history of violence, which was a key part of the trial, made it impossible to let him walk free before sentencing. So, what's next for Sean Combs? For now, he's staying in federal custody, where he's already been for about 9 or 10 months. The next step is a pre-sentencing investigation. This is a standard procedure where a probation officer puts together a deep dive report for the judge. It will cover Combs' background, his character, and the details of his crimes to help the judge figure out the right sentence. After that comes the sentencing hearing. The judge has thrown out October 3rd as a possible date, but also said he's willing to move it up, which is what the defense wants. At the hearing, both sides will make their case for how much time Combs should serve. The stakes are obviously high. Prosecutors have already said they'll be pushing for a sentence of at least 4 to 5 years. The defense will argue that the guidelines suggest a much shorter sentence, closer to 2 years, especially after counting the time he's already served. But the final call is completely up to Judge Subramanian, and he has a lot of room to decide. The judge's decision to deny bail based on past violence, even without a specific conviction for it in this trial, is sparking a huge debate. What do you think? Was it the right call to keep him locked up because of his violent history, or should the acquittal on the major charges have been enough to let him out? Let me know what you think in the comments. Sean Combs won a huge battle by avoiding a life sentence, but the fight isn't over. He is now a convicted felon, guilty of 2 serious crimes under the Mann Act, and the judge's bold decision to deny bail, citing a clear pattern of violence, guarantees that he'll be watching the next chapter of his life unfold from a jail cell. All eyes are now on that sentencing hearing, where the world will find out just how many more years the music mogul will spend in prison.